feel like you can get started. And just again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for those who are online. It just really means a lot to us because this means that we're definitely sharing and empowering our community. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah. So welcome to the day 6 of 28 Days of Tech Career, everyone. And it is my pleasure to kick off this International Women's Day with spreading awareness about the role I play in tech. It's been long since women have been fighting for their rights to be counted equal as another human being. We are at very stage where we can say there is a long way to go, but at the same time, we have come a long way on this journey. I'm very young, at least I love to say that, but I feel privileged because of the work other women have done in this world, whether it was our very own Grace Hopper or Ada Lovelace, Harry Lamar, Katherine Johnson. I know the list goes on and on. Like I literally carry them with me on my shoulder every day. You want to see the proof? Here it is. I have kept them on my laptop at workplace. And let's not forget about the women who are currently making exceptional impact in the world, like Reshma Sujani, Sheryl Sandberg, Marissa Mayer, Meg Whitman, Padma Shri Warrior. And again, these are just the women who are in the tech. I cannot be more grateful to them. Where we are currently today, it's truly because of them. I also know that still there are many women in this world who do not feel privileged. And we are here to change it and trying and making impact bit by bit. Coming back to today's 28 Days of Tech Career, I love this idea by anitabig.org because this is something I would always wanted to, know about. Earlier, I used to think that there is only software engineers in the industry and everybody codes. But as I grew up, I found out that coding is not the only thing that keeps tech world throbbing and make an impact. Like it is making to them. It needs a lot more than coding. Program manager, product manager, control engineer, data scientist, quality, network, system engineer, many more. And I'm happy today to make people know about what actually SRE does. So little bit about me and how I got integrated into the world of SRE. So I did my bachelor's and master's in computer application and I was still not satisfied. I knew the fundamentals of computer science, but I wanted to know more about web, how www works. I thought it is simply magic that how data travels so fast from one country to another or maybe continent. I fell in love with socket programming and knowing more about it. And I stumbled upon distributed system, cloud computing, and I got to know about the SRE world. And I started to going to meetups and meeting many men, women, and in the space and got inspired from them. I started reading books and everything, and like opportunities came coming up to my way from, and I got my first job at GSC 17 for Walmart Labs and become site reliability operations engineer. And my journey started. So before we start to know more about SRE, let's answer one of the questions, like what happens in the background when you hit the URL in Google search. We will not go into a lot more detail of the Google's algorithm of PageRank because it's out of the scope of this video. And I will also not try to go too deep into the fundamentals, but I will give the higher level of architecture view. So here it is. So first, when you hit your search query and hit the URL button on your Google, so it first goes to the DNS server and gets the IP address. And then this DNS server goes to other DNS if not able to, found the match. And now with this IP, it will go to Google data centers, servers, with your query. And this server is nothing but the load balancer to find the right answer, where the right answer to that, the server where the right answer for you exists. And this server also will go to other server, and as it will not have the answer, it will try to find it, and it will also need to go to like advertisements and search index and many more things to generate the whole page. It will generate the whole page, and that page will be replied back to you, and that's how you actually get your Google answer. All these things are like complex interactions of multiple components. in multiple administrative domains, and so many requests are sent and received, and it can go wrong at any point. And all this happens also in milliseconds, so it has to be really fast also. And so that and when it goes wrong, the SRE and DevOps and support people are the first people who takes the responsibility to make system up again. There are measurements like MTTD, MTTR, and MTTE, like mean time to engage, detect, and repair. At times you see that, Facebook is not loading, or this page or that page is taking too much time to load. Or you may say that, I'm not able to add for Walmart Labs, suppose, like I'm not able to add any things in my cart, or I'm not able to check out. So at that moment, SRE is try to in the back end, while you are facing such problem, the companies have such teams, operations team, that, together work and try to find out that where it is failing. What are the HTTP error codes they are getting, like any API, web services, any nodes which are having database contention, memory, CPU, latency, response time, network connection, and lot more things. So they try to find out all these things, and they try to fix it and try to make the system up again as soon as possible, and try to reduce the MTTD, the MTTR, and MTTE. So this was like reliability. As the career grows, you are given like more opportunity to dwell in and give your input as your knowledge of the system architecture grows. You also code different internal automation tools that companies use to keep site up. So here it is like you are coding and troubleshooting, but what about the scalability that plays role? What if your user level grows? So what is this scalability, like what is growing over here that we are talking about? So the thing that is growing over here is the scalability of this distributed system. And as it grows, it should perform effectively, no matter whether it's users or resources. So these are the things that can be growing, like you might have more data, more process, more machines, more users, and it will grow more than one way. So to answer this, there are different solutions to the scalability which you can use to answer this question. And the first is size scalability, geographical scalability, and administrative scalability. So when we talk about a size scalable system, it means is in terms of users, and regardless of like how many resources it might have, like it should perform well and effectively. Like we might choose perhaps to grow the size of our database, or instead opt for adding more servers in order to process a large stream of data for a few hours. However, if our system truly scales in accordance with size, adding more nodes should not disrupt the operations and performance of the system. Now, this was about the size scalability. What is the geographical scalability? Over here, what is scaling is if the distance between these users and resources, if it grows, still the efficiency or the performance of the system should not get hurt. So why does geographical distance matter? Well, because it takes time for pieces of system to send data and to communicate with one another. We know that two nodes in the same room will be able to, pass information, send information much faster than a node in halfway across the country. No matter how fast your system can communicate and send data, there are some geographical and physical limitations that even really great Wi-Fi can't solve. In a geographical scalable system, adding new nodes shouldn't slow down the amount of time it takes to communicate between them. In other words, like adding another node should take into account the physical location of the node in relation to the rest of the part of the system. And the another, last but not the least, is the administrative scalability. As we talked, we might grow geographically or we might grow size. So here we are talking about, we might end up adding new data center, or new servers. If we are doing such things, we will need human engineering and management to take care of this data center and keep them running and keep the site always performant all the time. So here we talked about all the size, geographical and administrative scalability. They each of them have their own pros and cons, and they are used to solve the particular problem at the moment the company faces. And that's where knowledge of SARI or solution architecture or someone who is technical program manager, DevOps people plays into account. So we talked about this scalability and reliability now. So let's talk about how to gather this knowledge or how to get the job as SRE. Because while I was hunting for this job, I found out that the company culture matters a lot for the SRE because each and every company has their own SRE culture defined. I kind of also found that it's still fresh. There are so many companies in the world that does not have proper SRE practices, or they are still fresh, and which is amazing for people like us who are entering into the industry. Because for me, that would be something amazing to learn about. I googled some blogs and everything, and I stumbled upon this amazing blog from a guy who wrote the blog about how he failed his SRE interview. And I think you can learn amazing things from the people who failed. And it so these are the things that the interview focuses on. Because when you talk about software engineering, the interview is so easy to crack that it's just algorithm and data structures. And you do it, done with it, and it's just one thing. But for SRE or DevOps jobs, you will require a lot more skills than just software engineering, like algorithm and data structure coding, because you will need the knowledge of Linux internal system administration, troubleshooting, large-scale system design, web services, WWW, and a lot more. So while you are SRE, it will happen that you are coding, and suppose in between the site goes down, and from the coding you will have to have the mind shift. You are taken away from your coding responsibility, and you will have to go and find out, okay, where it is failing, and you'll have to remember the whole architecture of the system that you are handling. When I joined Walmart Labs, for me it was, it's just a site, like shopping site. I've created so many. It will be so easy. But when I found out it's such a huge and like in the back end, and I was like little bit overwhelmed that, oh my God, how am I supposed to able to do this and remember everything and remember the services and our whole architecture. And as Walmart has like grown so big, like they acquired some other sites from UK, Canada, stamps like Mexico, Jet. We have to remember all the architecture and the knowledge base, that the architectural views, why this decision was made, and all the learning is just amazing. And here are some books that could help you with on this journey as well. And there is 2 books from Google, which Google wrote about SRE, which is here, and it's free to read, and it's online, so you can like literally read them on the go. And here are some of the blogs that I follow. As I talked here, that you will be required to know how you can scale large scale system design. These are the first 2 blogs that helped me a lot to gain this knowledge about how to, because this is my first full-time job, so I had no idea how to do all this and how to even answer this question. And the best part of these interviews are that they are open-end questions. There are no right and wrong, and the person who is interviewing you just want to see how well you can, troubleshoot or think about the problem, and what are the things you will take care or take into initiative to take into like account, that okay, these are the things that might be failing, or these are the things I should take care to make payment architecture or security, or these are the things I need to. Then these are some of the this is another one very nice blog, and it shares the different architectures of different companies and how different companies had the scalable issues and how they solved it. And different companies have their own scalability and reliability blogs. Like Uber has amazing one. Another one is Twilio's. Another my favorite, yeah, Facebook has amazing production engineering team. And yeah, and another some of the moves I would love to share with everyone is the Udacity and the Coursera one. And this specialization from Coursera about cloud computing was the one of the best to know more about the distributed system and everything. I would like to take some question and answer if you guys have.
Yeah, anyone can jump in and ask a question. Feel free. I'll give y'all some time to do that. And feel free to type it in the chat if you want. It's because some people sometimes are in an environment where they can't ask a question, but I'll just think about that.
Yeah, I think Ruturaj is typing.
All right, so okay, hi, I came on late, but wanted to know, what do you want?
Stacy, or work on a typical day. So for site reliability operations engineer, you work on two aspects. One is coding and another is troubleshooting if something goes wrong. So as I mentioned, like this is how my day would look like. I would be working on the code or something that programming or automation tools that we create to keep the site up and running all the time. And the another thing is that we'll have to keep monitoring all the dashboards that we have, like if it is failing on the home page or something different things for Walmart labs. And if it goes wrong, then I'll have to switch into the operations mode and from programming to troubleshooting it. Like as I said, like you will have to remember the architecture and know where the API is failing or web services, and whether it's some app that response time is going high or latency is increasing, and why is it doing so. So you engage in answering that question and try to make the site up as soon as possible. So that's how your day looks like. Like it's kind of like I love to talk to people. So amazing, because you are just not only coding, but at the same time I see that that mind shift, like shifting your mind out, taking your mind outside of coding, and within 1 second be able to talk or think about, okay, these are the teams that I need to reach out to. So that's a little bit challenging and I'm working upon it. So yeah, it's kind of fun. I hope that answered your question. Thank you.
So one of the questions I have is, Tasha, is what's like a pathway after this? Like what happens after this? Is there another level that you'll be like?
So there are nice question. Like I'm also like exploring a lot in this, even though I'm very new. But I've realized that there are actually two types of SRE in the companies, like mostly that, one is the one who codes 80% of time, another codes for 20% of time, and the another are like they code for 20%, like 20/80 scenario kind of. So this is like simple SRE. Then you can grow as from simple like SRE to senior to principal SRE, or you can go into the, as I said, that architecture, like solution architecture. You can become technical program manager. You can become like help companies with put up their scaling and put up their whole architecture and how to design that architecture, because there are so many startups nowadays in the world, and when they code or when they go on start coding, it's just they think that, okay, we will have 10,000 like people using our site, and what if instead of 10,000, 1 million hits the site? So that's when your job and your knowledge and how you faced it earlier or in your career, and this all things you can help companies with. So you can become technical program manager, platform SRE, staff SRE, like it's kind of like software engineer. So yeah, and you can obviously go to management and leadership roles.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, if not, I'll give y'all 10 seconds and then I will say au revoir. I know my French sucks. All right, folks, I'm gonna let y'all get back to y'all day. Thank you for your time, and ping me later. I know some people had some little issues, but I really appreciate the time together. So have a great day, y'all.